I believe Rick Joyner wrote a book called The Apostolic Ministry. It was one of the first really good books written on the apostolic. Wrote it back in the 90s. And what he says is the main office and function that birthed the church is the main office and function that's going to close out, before Jesus comes back, is the apostolic office. Because, every church in the New Testament was planted by apostles. Every church in the New Testament that was governed by apostles. Now, here's what I'm not doing. I'm not trying to create a whole new pyramid scheme and say, instead of the pastor being at the pinnacle of the pyramid, the apostle needs to be. It's not what I'm doing. Because, okay, here's the difference. We see a lot of, I'm not going to say all, a lot of pastoral-led ministries, a lot of pastor-led models have this pinnacle of success being the top. The pastoral office is that pinnacle of the pyramid, right? And everyone else serves underneath that. They all serve that pinnacle, function, office, position, title, whatever, right? The apostolic, as we see in Ephesians 2:20, is not the top, it's the bottom, right? Even though it's one of the most important functions, as in making sure everything is held together and operates right? It doesn't mean that the person is more important, right? The function is foundational in the same way that a house, okay? Paul said, Ephesians 2:20, the foundation is built. The apostles and prophets are the foundation, with Jesus Christ as the chief cornerstone. And then the rest of the building, the rest of the household of the body of Christ is built upon that foundation. So if I were to ask you what the most important part of a house is, some people wouldn't know, but I'll tell you as a builder, it's the foundation. Because if the foundation is not right, you can build the most beautiful walls, you can build the most beautiful kitchen, you can have the most beautiful bathrooms, and every single thing is going to crumble. All of it. Right? That's why the apostolic is one of the most important things. It's not because the people are more important. It's not because they're more awesome. It's not because, we worship them and they're superstars. No, it's because everything's built on top of it. Everything is built on the foundation. And if the foundation is not right, the house will crumble. Jesus said that if your life is not built on a solid foundation, if your life's not built on the rock of Christ, your life will crumble. In the same way, the church is built upon the foundation of the apostles and the prophets, with Jesus Christ as the chief cornerstone. And if the foundation is not right, then the house crumbles. What have we been seeing lately? What have we been seeing? We've been seeing ministries crumble all over the place. Why? Foundation. So there's a big difference between being a part of the foundation and building everybody else up above you, releasing, building up, equipping, releasing, building up. Let me elevate you. Let me put you in a position to succeed. Let me help raise you up. Let me help you succeed. Okay, that's the picture of the apostolic. The picture of the one-man model, the some of the pastor-led models. Please, I'm not trying to say everybody, right? But I have been a part of some of these. I have been connected with some of these, and I've seen a lot of them. It's like to the point where almost bow down to the pinnacle of the pyramid, worship, put him on this pedestal. It's all about him, right? And it's like, that's not biblical. It's just not a biblical model. It's not Christ-like. And here's what happens. It creates this narcissistic leader. And it's not necessarily because they have bad intentions. It's not necessarily because they have a bad heart. It's because of the system. The system creates narcissism because it all becomes about them. And so it just becomes life, and it becomes the way we do things. And it's not healthy, man. It's not healthy. Read up on narcissistic behavior. Unfortunately, there's a lot of it in leadership in the body of Christ. I'm dealing with a situation right now, trying to help some people walk through some things with some pretty heavy narcissistic leaders. And I'm like, I'm reading some of this stuff that they've written, the members, and I'm like, I can't believe somebody would talk like that to anybody. I mean, I just can't believe somebody would talk like that. I mean, that don't even sound like they're saved. And these are pastors, lead pastors. These are leaders of ministries. And I'm just like, oh, Lord, how did we get here? How did we get here? Foundation is huge, man. I mean, really, it is the most important part of a building. But here's something also to look at. It's not the most flashy, right? It's not the most beautiful. It's not even always seen. But it's the most important. Because if it's not solid, it's not strong, it's not right, it's not deep enough, it's not square, straight, level, everything else is affected. Everything else gets screwed up. And in the same way, if the apostolic function is not fundamentally foundational, a part of a ministry, that ministry is going to be uneven, unhealthy, and probably end up falling apart at some level at some point.